change it.
I think he's coming right. He says it's ready.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our June 22nd, 2021 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. Our first meeting back together since 15, 16 months ago. So it's very refreshing to be here together with everyone. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Reynolds.
Present.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'll invite my brother, Rob Taylor, pastor at Tates Creek Baptist Church, to come up and lead us in a word of prayer.
Judge, this morning, if we could, since this is our first face-to-face gathering in a long time, we've got some new faces in the courtroom and here on the court. And I think it'd be appropriate if we just introduce our first district magistrate now, Paul Reynolds. And I also think it'd be appropriate if we would just take a second and have a moment of silence for our past magistrate, Larry Combs.
Yeah, that's good, Tom. I appreciate that. Brother, we'll have a moment of silence, and then if you would lead us in a word of prayer.
Will you pray with me? God, we come to you this morning and we thank you. We thank you for the men and women of leadership in this county, for how they give of themselves, how they give to this community to better it. God, we thank you for how they have led us in the last year. We thank you that of their willingness to go above and beyond. We thank you for those that have served in the past, like Magistrate Combs, and those that have taken his place, like Magistrate Reynolds, and all the others that continue to serve us each and every day. God, we know your word says that you place these people before us. You put them in these positions of authority. And so we ask you to put your hand upon them, to give them wisdom, to give them knowledge, to give them understanding, as they continue to serve us, the citizens of this community. God, we come before you as we have for many generations now, knowing that no matter who is placed upon these seats of authority, nothing can be done outside of your will, and all that is done needs your guidance. So God, we thank you for the year that we are going to be going into, out of a year of pandemic, out of a year of confusion and upheaval. And as we get back to what we consider normal, will you open doors and allow this community to continue to grow and to continue to prosper. And we will give you the glory and the honor. For it's in the name of Jesus I pray these things. Amen.
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 Thank you, brother. Tom, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Stand, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You see. Well, doesn't that sound good to be in unison? Because for 16 months it hasn't been in unison. Yep. Man, that's good. Thanks, Tom. Next, our approval of our previous fiscal court meeting minutes. That was our June 8th fiscal court meeting. We do have just a couple little typos in there. Well, they're really not typos. I would say it was hard to understand what the actual grant was, but and I've made these changes. Tom, I thank you for calling and bringing these up. I have these changes made, but in, I don't know, the third paragraph or something, it's build grant, B-U-I-L-D grant, not B-I-L-L grant, and then it's 52 connector to Duncan and not 452. So if you all approve those changes, I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on our minutes from our June 8th meeting? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Good morning, Glenna.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's nice to be here in person.
It is nice.
Um,
Next is our treasurer's report.
I'm on top of it.
You are. Good.
You will find in your Dropbox the treasurer's report that goes through May 31st, 2021. And if anyone in the public would like a copy of this report, you can contact the treasurer's office and we will email it to you. As of May 31st, 2021, our total fund budget was $20,437,995.99. Our revenues and expenditures as of 5/31, general fund, our revenues are at 111%. Our expenditures are at 51.9%. Our road fund, our revenues are at 84.2%. Our expenditures are 80.4%. Our jail fund, our revenues are at 82.3%. Our expenditures are at 76.4%. Our LGEA fund, our revenues are 126%. Our expenditures are at 25.4%. Our CSEP fund, our revenues are 11.6%. Our expenditures are at 10.9%. Our 911 fund, our revenues are at 97.5%. Our expenditures are at 65.9%. And our health fund, our revenues are at 91%. Our expenditures are at 78.8%. Does anybody have any questions about the claims or the treasurer's report?
The only thing I want to just make note is our total is pretty high.
Yes.
But part of that is because of our ARPA funds that we've received our first allocation in on.
Yes.
Is that correct, Glenn?
Yes.
Mhm.
$9,038,000.
Yeah. 9,030,000. 817.
Let me see here. We've got it coming up for the, yes, $9,030,817.50.
Glenn, there's a couple of fund items there that was at 91%.
Mhm.
Will they be at 100% the 1st of July then, or all the funds are in for those?
No, most of them will keep going. Yes, they'll be over 100% or over 100%. The road and jail fund are at 84 and 82. They probably won't make 100%, especially not the jail fund. And the road fund might, but we probably won't get another allocation of county road fund money.
2 more weeks or less.
But their expenditures are also below what their revenues are, so we're in good shape there.
Part of that, especially on the road fund, is I think, we get our county road aid projection, at the beginning of the year, so we can have it to put in the budget. But, depending on what fuel prices are doing, whether they're going up or down, dictates it ultimately how much we get in by the end of the year. So, any questions for Glenna on our treasurer's report? Seeing none, thanks, Glenna.
Thanks,
You're gonna
Glenna.
stay right there,
I
I
was
think.
getting ready to say, I've got
Yep.
2 items.
Next on our agenda is our second reading of ordinance 2021-05. This is our fiscal court budget for our fiscal year 2021-2022.
This is an ordinance to adopt the 2021-2022 fiscal court budget, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the administration of the county budget, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court has reviewed the proposed 2021-22 fiscal court budget, and whereas the county treasurer has reviewed the budget to ensure sound financial practices, now therefore be it ordained by the fiscal court of the county of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, does hereby approve the proposed 2021-2022 fiscal court budget. This ordinance shall become effective on the date on the second reading and adoption.
Thank you, Glenna. Do I have a motion and a second for a second reading of ordinance 2021-05, our fiscal court budget for 2021-2022?
So moved.
Have a motion. I have a motion, I have a second. Do we have any discussion?
I just had a question, Judge.
Sure.
In the packets that were sent to us, there was on one of the last pages, a red lines through jailer incentive training.
The training, we had those put on the pre-approved list because we pay those through payroll, but DLG marked them out. So what'll have to happen when I get your all's letters, any letters to pay incentives, I have to run them through court before I pay them out.
Okay.
Doesn't affect anything, just that we need to put them through court instead of just paying them off the pre-approved.
And that's only for training?
It's only for the training incentives.
Well, that was everybody's.
No, it's everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody's,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So everybody who gets that training incentive, when I get the letter to pay, once you've completed your training, then we'll just run it through court.
Yeah, it's just pre-approved expenditures, that's not,
And
I
that's
guess.
just once a year for each
Yes,
Mhm.
employee.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not considered a pre-approved expenditure.
yes.
All right, I
So,
understand.
yeah. Good question, Tom. Anything else?
No.
Good. All right, any other questions? Any other comments? Do want to ask for any public comment at this time. This is the second reading. We did advertise it appropriately by KRS. And we had no comments online, and we have no one here today to comment, it doesn't look like. So, Glenna, thanks for all your hard work on the budget this year.
Appreciate it.
I know you and I spent a lot of time together during the budget time frame. We appreciate all of our department heads and all our employees that put a lot into our budget. And I'm very proud of how we put together a budget compared to 7 years ago.
Yes.
And so it allows us to all unify and be a part of the budget and setting our costs. So kudos to everyone. If no other comments, call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Sorry, back up. Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm still trying to find that.
I think you're a little rusty, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm
You
trying to
have
find
hit
that
the
button, that mute button.
Yeah.
I gotta remember I'm not muted all the time.
Yeah, be careful what you say, right? Next, second reading of ordinance 2021-06. This is our ARPA funds budget amendment. Glenna?
An ordinance relating to the budget amendment of the American Rescue Plan Act grant, known as ARPA. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the administration of the county budget, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court has realized unbudgeted receipts, and whereas the county treasurer has reviewed the budget to ensure sound financial practices, now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison, Commonwealth of Kentucky, the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, budget be amended by $9,030,817.50.
All right, thank you, Glenna. Do I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2021-06?
Motion to approve ordinance 2021-06, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just like to say that the ARPA funds coming to us, the directions on how to use those funds is still not 100% clear. We were at a conference last week, all of us, and we're starting to get bits and pieces more on how to use that. So, we'll be working on a plan here, I guess, pretty soon to use up those $9 million in funds and another $9 million coming to us. So we should be able to make some improvements to the community starting soon, we hope.
Yeah, one good thing about this is that they have allowed us to be very patient and really think through how to spend these funds. We have until December of 2024 to have these funds allocated. So we have to, then we have until December of 2026 to actually have it spent. So that is really good because it gives us time to really think through and make sure that what we're gonna spend it on is approved. It's not gonna come back and haunt us at a later date. And can make sure that we really have a lasting effect on this community with having this opportunity to get these funds. So it's good, really good.
That ARPA document is over a 500-page
Yes.
document, so I mean, there's a lot in it, and it's just it's gonna take a while to get through it and sort it out, but.
Judge, the DOG will have to approve any spending on those ARPA funds before we can go ahead with them, right?
No.
Who does the approval on them?
So we will have, any monies that we spend would be audited, at the end of the year, and that'll actually be done through the auditor's office. This was a direct allocation to counties from the United States Treasury, and that's what these guidelines are for. So we're working as a team right now to put a plan together that we would present to the court, how we would spend these funds. And then the most important thing that we can do when we spend these monies is to document and why that with the Treasury guidance that we've gotten, this is why we think that we can spend it in this way, and we will have a good sales pitch, right, for the auditors if they ever came in and questioned how we would spend it. So, yeah. All right, any other comments or questions? We do have a first and a second, so call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, second reading of ordinance 2021-07, the administrative code for 2021-2022. Good morning, Colleen.
Good morning. Ordinance 2021-07, an ordinance to adopt the 2021-2022 administrative code. This ordinance supersedes ordinance 2013, which was last year's administrative code. The only change we have between the first and the second reading of this document is going to be in section 5.8, which is the holiday section, and it is simply clarifying that 8 hours or a per shift. Other than that, there are no other changes to the admin code from what you saw from the first reading.
All right.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2021-07. Any discussion?
Judge, I was just glad to see, of course, there was a lot of work that went into this document in the past that has brought it to where it's at today. And as you know, this is it's a living document, and there's changes gonna have to be made to it practically yearly for some reason or the other. And I'm glad to see that it's in the, that it covers so many areas so thoroughly, and that it's, you know, it's helping protect our employees, and it's a very good detailed guideline.
Yep. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. And Colleen, thank you and Morgan both for y'all's work on this. And welcome, Morgan. Should have welcomed you earlier. This is your first actual fiscal court meeting, isn't it? Yeah, so glad you're here. Next is ordinance 2021-08. This is our drug and alcohol-free workplace policy for 2021-2022. Colleen?
Ordinance 2021-08, an ordinance to adopt the 2021-2022 drug and alcohol-free workplace policy. This ordinance supersedes ordinance 20-14. There are no changes from the first reading to this. And just so y'all know, no comments were made online on any of the three I'm presenting
Yep.
today.
All right, do I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 21?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2021-08.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments? Any discussion? I didn't ask a minute ago, but I know the answer, but people watching might not know. But do we have any public comment today on any of these ordinances that are second readings? All right, seeing no discussion, call the roll.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, second reading of ordinance 2021-09. This is our code of ethics for our 2021-2022 fiscal year.
Ordinance 2021-09, an ordinance to adopt the 2021-2022 Code of Ethics. This ordinance supersedes ordinance 20-15. There were no changes made from the first, second reading, and no comments made to the office.
All right. Do we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2021-09?
Make a motion to accept 2021-09.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you very much, Colleen.
Point of privilege, I'd just like to congratulate Kenny Barger on becoming a grandfather.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Papaw.
Yep.
Poppy, will you being called?
Papaw.
Papaw. Yeah, that's good. New name. Thank you, Colleen. Morgan, I know a lot of work goes into these policies and a lot of reading and editing, and I know Robin helped a lot, so kudos to you all in making these documents what they are today. Next, second reading of ordinance 2021-10. This is our airport board interlocal agreement, an ordinance to adopt an interlocal agreement relating to a local airport air board formed pursuant to KRS 183.132 made by and between Eastern Kentucky University, the Madison County Fiscal Court, and the City Commission of Richmond, the City Commission of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, and the City Council of the City of Berea, Kentucky. Do I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 2021-10?
I make a Motion to accept ordinance 2021-10.
Thanks, Paul.
Second.
Second, Roger.
Second.
All right, do we have any discussion? Again, this is a second reading. We have advertised appropriately. It doesn't look like we have any kind of public comment. We had none online either from our first reading.
A lot of good work went into that, Judge, especially up in the legislature, and we appreciate Representative Frazier's work on that House bill that went through. And so we just thank them. Eastern's a good partner. We're glad to have them.
Yeah, and I've said it many times that Eastern's really always been a partner, really, in the airport. I mean, being our FBO, and it was great when we got to have the bill signing. A lot of us were there for the bill signing back in, March, April, somewhere in there. So it was good for us all to be together. All right, any more discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is ordinance, second reading of ordinance 2021-11. This is zone change for 1449 and 1479 Barnes Mill Road. Good morning, Bert.
Morning, everybody. This is ordinance number 2021-11, an ordinance of the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, approving the zone change of 1449 and 1479 Barnes Mill Road, Richmond, Kentucky, and authorizing the amendment of the official zoning map of Madison County. This is a zone change from UC7 agriculture to UC7 or UC1 single-family residential. The Planning Commission has recommended to approve this zone change. Their findings of fact being that the proposed zoning classification is appropriate as it is consistent with the comprehensive plan for the following reasons: the character and area of the property due to the residential development in the urban corridor where new development is encouraged. The character of the surrounding area and this property are more suitable for residential purposes as the subject property is within the urban corridor and in close proximity to other properties used for residential purposes. And it contains the required infrastructure for residential development, and that there's an established need for single-family residential lots in the county at this time. Just to remind you all, this property's on Barnes Mill Road, going out of town, between Curtis Pike and Crutcher Pike on the left side there, right before you get to Willimack subdivision.
Parts of it actually butt up, part of this farm actually butt up to Wilmac.
It actually does, yeah.
Yep. All right, do I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2021-11, the zone change for 1449 and 1479 Barnes Mill Road?
Motion to approve ordinance 2021-11, Judge.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Just want to thank Bert for sending me maps. I went out there and looked at it, and I appreciate that, Bert. Thank you. Sure.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor,
I'm going to abstain from this, Kenny. I have a cousin involved in the transaction, so I'm
Okay.
abstaining.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. And Bert, we didn't have any kind of public comment sent to, we didn't have it in our office, and y'all,
We didn't have anything after the public hearing.
Yeah.
No, we direct all that to your office, and I don't think y'all have anything.
yeah, okay, thank you. Next, second reading of ordinance 2021-12, zone change on 2300 Battlefield Memorial Highway.
Ordinance number 2021-12, an ordinance of the Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, approving the zone change of 2300 Battlefield Memorial Highway, Berea, Kentucky, and authorizing the amendment of the official zoning map of Madison County, Kentucky. This is a zone change from R7 agriculture to RC4 general commercial. The recommendation was to approve, with the finding of fact being that the existing zoning classification is inappropriate and the proposed zoning classification is appropriate for the following reasons. This area of the county was one of increasing economic activity with access to two state highways, fire flow, and adequate infrastructure for development. The use of this property as it was presently zoned was not ideal due to the changing economic activity within the area, and that the property was within the rural development corridor with supporting infrastructure and economic development as contemplated by the comprehensive plan that made RC4 the most appropriate zoning classification for the property. This piece of property is down in Kingston. It's at the intersection of Crooksville Road, which is a state highway, and Battlefield Memorial, obviously, which is also a federal highway. Again, the recommendation was to approve for general commercial.
Okay. Thank you, Bert. Do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2021-12?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2021-12. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion?
Just again, I thank you for sending me the maps on that, Bert, and taking a look at it. One of the things there that, and we'll see, it's, in the time when they do their site plan for it, just want to make sure that they do the proper buffering down next to the Leach's property. And,
Is that to the south of this property?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is. Down on the
Yeah,
south
anytime you
side.
have a commercial zone next to a residential, agricultural, whatever it is, there's some landscape bufferings that are required there that'll be discussed at the site development hearing.
And then, of course, I guess it'll be state approval since it's state roads.
For the entrances,
is
yeah.
gonna be key.
They'll have to
that
deal with
property.
that with the state. I don't know if they'll make them use the ones that are already existing. They have one on 499 or Crooksville Road. They also already have at least one on Battlefield, so I don't know how they make them, or how they'll even want to split that up, but the state will make them follow their guidelines for that.
And I think we discussed at the last meeting, part of that property is in flood zone.
It is, yep.
Everybody knows that up front.
Do they have to get that approved, Bert, from the state as far as the entrances before they bring their site plan? Or is it kind of
It's
in
part of,
tandem?
it's kind of goes hand in hand.
Hand in hand? Yeah, okay. All right, good conversation. Yeah, anyone else? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Bert.
Thank you. Thanks, Bert. Next, resolution 2021-69. This is Bullpen Company Grant Writing Services. A resolution approving contractual service agreement for Madison County Fiscal Court grant writing and administration contractual consultant. Whereas the Madison County wishes to secure grant writing services, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has contracted with the Bullpen Company in the past for grant writing services and is satisfied with the product that the Bullpen Company provides. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to renew their contract with the Bullpen Company for grant writing services for one year beginning July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022 in the amount of $50,000 per year for a minimum of 40 hours of actual work done per month, which is attached hereto this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into the contract and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county to go into effect July 1, 2021. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021-69?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2021-69.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
What grants are we seeking out? What's that?
Yeah, come on up, Colleen. You probably know a lot more of the names of them than I do. I mean, we apply for tons of grants. There's a lot we help the sheriff's department with. There's JAG grants.
Right, so we're doing JAG grants, animal control, we did 2 through Petco and 1 through Fiscal this year. We obviously have a significant amount of money coming in for water, wastewater line through various pots. We do have ARPA. Not all of it is reviewed by Tom, but he does give it a precursory for what conditions we need to meet. This will also allow us to be more competitive. Right now, we don't have a certified grant administrator, so we still have to contract those services out. This would allow us to apply for him to have the training and do CDBG, ARC, those federally funded that we have to contract because we're not certified. You have to have a certified grant administrator. So that'll be an added responsibility. Tom worked on the build grant for us this year. We've done those 2 years in a row. We were a finalist. We were in the top, nationally, in the top 20 applications out of, I think it was
I don't know.
600
Yeah, a bunch.
that were reviewed, and we just barely did not get it, so we're gonna reapply this year for that. So those are some examples. I can have you get a complete list if that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's well worth the money that we pay. I tell you that.
Yes,
As far as how
yes.
much
We
we
received,
pay out.
we received double in funding in what we paid out this year alone, and that's just an unofficial record.
And part of this too is we don't pay for any kind of supplies either. I mean,
It's
this
a
company is
contract. These are
it's a
non-
contract, so they're responsible for paying for all their overhead and
Right. We host a
Material costs
monthly
and-
meeting with updates. Right now, I think we're actively seeking 26 grants at the moment
Yep.
that we're either applying or closing out on.
so it's good.
Judge, in the supporting documents there in the compensation, is it safe to assume that we're gonna round up on the 4166.666666667 per month?
I'm sure,
I'm just curious.
I'm sure we will. I
We like
guess
to be
that's-
exact, we like to be very exact.
That's just what the calculator prints out, so I'd say it'll be 4166.67.
I just
Yeah,
wanna make sure
it'll
it's
be.
rounding up.
Yeah,
Infinite number there.
yeah, that's right.
Judge, I'd just like to say that Tom's been writing our grants for the last 2 or 3 years and does an awesome job.
Yep.
And I'm ready to continue with his service.
It's good.
We do anticipate seeing broadband funding coming, some additional pots are coming, and so we're already pre-reviewing that. The ARPA language, he and I have been through now during 2 iterations of it, as well as CARES, so we'll continue to look for some of those funds coming down.
Yeah. It's great opportunities for our community, for sure, so. All right, any other questions or comments? Thanks, Colleen. Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is Resolution 2021-70. This is our Kit Carson Commons project. Glenna?
A resolution authorizing payment for the Kit Carson Commons project, whereas Madison County has been awarded Community Development Block Grant funds from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in the amount of $480,000, and whereas the expenditures of all CDBG funds are in compliance with the Kentucky CDBG Handbook, financial management policies, and applicable OMB circulars. Now therefore be it ordained, Madison County is the recipient of the CDBG program funds by signature of County Judge Executive Reagan Taylor approves the following debts to be paid in full upon receipt of the CDBG funds as drawn down from the Kentucky Department for Local Government or other payments that may be requested from other funding sources. Pay application 14, Spectrum Contracting Services, PO number 109, line item 05K-Training Center. CDBG costs $30,175.92. Be it further resolved that all expenditures have been documented and recorded and are authorized for drawdown from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in compliance with all state, federal, and local regulations.
Motion to approve resolution 2021-70, Judge.
Second that.
Thank you all. Any discussion?
Glenn, how more drawdowns do you foresee before the project is finished?
I'd say 2 or 3. I think, I haven't looked real, close at it right before I come over here, but I think they've spent about $280,000.
Are they pretty much on budget at this
yeah.
point?
Yeah.
Well, it's a,
Thought
it's a
he-
lot bigger project than just that amount. That's just the portion
That's what
that
we-
we're
the
running
grant-
through.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
yeah.
Right.
Just as normally Spectrum does through, most time a monthly, what that work they've done for the month, and then we do a payment.
Right.
So it's normally about once a
So
month
this will
we do
get
a
them up
payment.
to date then?
Yes, this will get them up to date, and then, they'll continue working until the project's finished. But it should be finished sometime in this 21-22 fiscal year.
Yeah. I think whenever she came and talked to us about this, were they talking about maybe September? Is that right?
Yeah, they don't have much left.
Yep. Yep, so that's good. All right, thanks, Glenn. Any more discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is Resolution 2021-71. I think this is some pre-approved claims and transfers for the end of the year, it's closing out the year.
Yes, we do this every year for the ones that are new. It allows us to pay any claims that need to be paid out of this fiscal year budget, up through June 30th, and then we give you all a report on it. A resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve the Treasurer's request to pre-approve the claims and transfers. Whereas the Madison County Treasurer is requesting the pre-approval of claims and transfers through June 30th, 2021. Whereas the Madison County Treasurer will provide a detailed list of claims and transfers paid through June 30th, 2021. And whereas the auditor requires action to be taken by the Madison County Fiscal Court to allow a change in the approval schedule. And whereas the change will positively impact the citizens of Madison County and vendors by allowing the fiscal court to pay any claims due for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve the claims and transfers through June 30th, 2021, and authorize the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Glenda. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-71?
Make a motion to approve ordinance. It's a resolution, I'm sorry. Resolution 2021-71.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Thanks, John. Roger? Any questions? All right. Seeing none, call the roll.
Master-
Thanks, Clem.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, Resolution 2021-72, Madison County Sheriff's 2020 Local Tax Settlement. Tony, you're going up. I'll read this while you're going up. That's all right. A resolution to approve the 2020 Madison County Sheriff's Local Tax Settlement, whereas the Madison County Sheriff's Department collected $56,487,389.67 in taxes for the county in 2020. And whereas the Madison County Sheriff's Department disperses payments to all districts within the county. And whereas the Madison County Sheriff's local tax settlement is prepared annually to allow state auditors to audit the Madison County Sheriff's Department's books, which is attached here to this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-72?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Roger, second by Paul. Any discussion? Tony?
You have the numbers there in front of you. You know, that's a lot of money, and I'd just like to pass along a great job to Mary Margaret and all the people in our tax office that accountable for all this. They put a lot of hours in, and you can see the difference down there at the bottom. The bottom line says it all, you know, just a matter of pennies in each category for $56 million. I think that's a really good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It comes down to how small it is. And one thing too that I always like to make sure that people understand is that when the sheriff is collecting those taxes, they're actually collecting those taxes for school board,
Yes.
for our health boards, our libraries, EMS, our extension office, our county. You're also collecting a portion of that goes to the state, goes back to the state legislature. So
That's correct, yes. We collect all those, and then Mary Margaret makes all the checks, disbursements to each one of those entities as you're talking about.
right.
Judge, if you don't care, I'd like to share with the community how that's broken down to each entity receives how much funding of that $56 million. The county receives $4,147,232.33. Community schools, which is all the Madison County schools, receive $31,682,382.46. Berea School receives $1,995,703.33. The Health Department receives $2,592,023.24. The Extension Office receives $918,613.48. The Ambulance Board receives $2,488,364.47. The Library Board receives $2,954,919.03. And the watersheds districts receive $46,820.21. So that's how it's broken down. The county only receives $4,147,000 out of the $56 million.
You're talking about real estate.
Real estate.
Right, out of the real estate taxes the Sheriff's Department collects. There's some more categories, but the real estate tax is the largest one there.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, thanks, Tony, appreciate it. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Reynolds?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is Resolution 2021-73. This is an affirmation for 2725 Lexington Road. Bert?
Yep, Judge, I'll give the background, if that's all right, of how we got here, if you want to, and then read
Sure.
the resolution.
Oh, that's fine.
Is that good? So this is a little different than we normally do on zone change applications. This is actually a recommendation from the planning commission to not approve a zone change. So there's no ordinance because we're not amending the zoning map, but there was still findings of fact that the planning commission made that I want to share with y'all. You probably have a copy of them, but upon considering the evidence and testimony that was summarized here in the Madison County Planning Commission made the following findings of fact: that the existing zoning classification is appropriate and the proposed zoning classification is inappropriate for the following reasons. The finding was made that in November of 2020, urged by the applicant that the present land use classification was appropriate, and that the surrounding area is one of properties classified as UC3, UC1, and UC7, with no nearby UC2 designations, making spot zoning of concern. And that the property does not meet the 5-acre minimum lot size for the proposed land use classification. And there is not currently sewer service on site as would be required for the proposed land use classification. And lastly, making land use classification changes in such close temporal proximity based upon offers to purchase can be inconsistent with good planning and not in conformity with the general goals of the comprehensive plan. So this was an application to change this property from neighborhood commercial to multifamily housing, multifamily residential. One of the requirements is a minimum of a 5-acre lot. They didn't have that. These are in our land use subdivision regulation. Another requirement is sanitary sewer, so we don't put it on septic systems. I think the third reason the planning commission was concerned about it was there was a zone change, as the findings mentioned just 6 months ago, that changed it from agriculture to the commercial, the neighborhood commercial. During that zone change hearing, the applicant even stated that she didn't think that the property was suitable for residential because of interstate noise and close proximity to 25 and that kind of thing. So based on all those factors, the planning commission, they made a motion to recommend that you not approve this zone change for those reasons. As I read this resolution,
Before you read the resolution, I want us to also explain to the court members so they understand sort of this process is that, you know, I don't know that we've ever had a recommendation from the planning commission to not approve something, right? And all the planning commission does is recommends to us. So we have the choice whether we want to agree with their recommendation or not to agree with the recommendation. The only reason you do this in an ordinance with a zone change is because you have to change your zoning maps. So we're here today to decide whether we affirm the recommendation of the planning commission or we don't. If we don't, then we would bring back an actual ordinance at a next meeting to ultimately, if we did not agree with their.
yeah, and I think it'd be appropriate, Judge, to remind everybody, this resolution, like you said, is to agree with the planning commission. So if you vote yes on this resolution, you're agreeing to not change the zone.
Yeah.
If you vote no on this and we have to write an ordinance to overrule this, overturn this, then we would have to have findings of facts to go in that ordinance.
Yes.
Based on your reasons for overturning or overruling the planning commission.
Yep.
So that's kind of how that process works. Again, but a yes vote for this resolution is basically agreeing with.
Because
the planning
ultimately, the
commission.
ordinance, all you're doing in the ordinance is agreeing to change the maps.
Yeah, and by
right?
process, you're agreeing with the
Yep.
planning commission's recommendation by approving the ordinance.
Yep. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear and understands that, because this is sort of out of the norm.
Right.
Yep. So, go ahead and read the
Yeah,
rest.
so resolution
Does anybody have any
2020,
questions before you read that? Anybody have any questions about anything? All right, then read the resolution. Thanks.
resolution 2021-73, a resolution to affirm a recommendation from the Madison County Planning Commission. Whereas the Madison County Planning Commission received an application for a land use map amendment, and whereas the application request was to amend the official zoning map for a certain 4.03 acre tract located at 2725 Lexington Road, Richmond, Madison County, Kentucky, from the existing zoning classifications of UC3 to UC2. And whereas the Madison County Planning Commission recommends the proposed land use map amendment from UC3 to UC2 not be approved. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court does hereby affirm the recommendations of the Madison County Planning Commission to not approve the land use map amendment from UC3 to UC2 for 2725 Lexington Road, Richmond, Madison County, Kentucky. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county.
All right. Thanks, Bert. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021-73?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Judge, I'd just like to say that my main reason for voting with the zoning board on this is it doesn't meet the standards of 5 acres. It's 4.03 acres. And if we approve this, we're setting the precedence for allowing other developments, other zone changes at a lower rate than what the standards said. So that's my main reason for objecting and voting with the planning zone.
Yep. Thanks, John. I would agree with that, John. Some of their findings of fact, I don't necessarily agree with. I mean, there is sewer available out there. Just because it's not on site, whoever would want to develop it at a later date would have to run that down too.
That's right.
But there is actually sewer available. So, but some of those things I didn't agree with either. But I 100% agree with your statement, John, on the 5 acre minimum. I think that I feel like we've done very well as a court is
If we set
for the
standards,
for the most part, we've always tried to treat everybody fairly and try to, if we have rules, let's follow those rules across the board. And so I would agree with that. Any other comments?
Finding of facts scares me. I don't
Which
like
part
to
of
get
it?
into findings of fact.
People can have different facts, can't they?
That's right.
All right. Any other comments? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
yes.
Master Viking,
Based on their recommendation, yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Bert. Man, this is a busy agenda over here I'm trying to look at right now. It's hard to follow. So much writing on here. Next, Resolution 2021-74, some Madison County Information Technology Service Agreements for 2021-2022. Resolution authorizing signature of the 2021-2022 Madison County Information Technology, also known as MCIT, service agreements. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court County is providing IT services and desires to sign contractual agreements for those services with the following: Madison County 911, Madison County Clerk's Office, Madison County Detention Center, Madison County Sheriff's Office, Madison County Attorney's Office, Kirksville Water Association, Madison County Utilities District, Madison County PVA, Madison County EMS, and Southern Madison Water District. And whereas these contracts shall be certified for necessary IT services, service work billable every 12 months. And whereas the terms of these contracts are from July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. And whereas service under these agreements, with the exception of emergency service, shall be performed within standard county work hours, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and will be completed by an employee of the Madison County Fiscal Court Information Technology Department. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve to enter into these agreements and authorizes the Judge Executive to execute same on behalf of the county. I need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-74.
Make a motion to accept resolution 2021-74.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
The only one I had a question about, Judge, was on 17E, the jail IT services, and then the question is, with the upgrades that they're doing over there, is that covered in this, or will there be an additional, will we have to have an additional amendment for their services?
Answer that, or ask
At
that
the
question.
jail, they're doing some upgrades over there
Yes.
in the locking system and 2 or 3 other different things. Will those be included? Would we have to, are those included in this, or will we have to come back at a later date for IT to support those things?
So I don't specifically know the answer to that question. We can find it out. I would think that it is included because Chris and Ryan and our IT team have been part of those conversations with Perfection Group and the jail staff, Don Battles, on the upgrades and the changes that we're making.
Okay.
So one thing I know about Chris is he's very thorough, and And he knows all that prior to these agreements, so I'm sure that he's added those things in here.
Good.
But I will confirm, just to make sure, just to give an answer to your question. All right. Any other comments or questions?
Sheila, Chris just texted me, he's watching, it's included.
It's included. There you go.
There's your answer.
There's your
He's
answer.
on
Thank-
vacation, but
I
he
told
said
you he's very-
he's watching.
I told you he was very thorough.
He said it's included.
Yeah. All right. No other comments or questions? Call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin.
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is
Go ahead.
personnel and CSET, and we have our very own Jennifer Hitchwick here with us today. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Court.
Morning.
We would like to ask the court's permission to hire two individuals. These two positions are 100% CSEP funded. The first would be Charles DeBoard. He would be hired as an EOC technician. Starting salary is $16.41, and the start date June 23rd, 2021.
All right, hold on a minute. Charles DeBoard, is that one you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do I have a motion and a second upon Jennifer's recommendation?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second? All right, any discussion?
Jennifer, how many hours of training do they have to have before they can apply for a position like this, or is it on-the-job training?
So for the EOC technician, there's quite a bit of on-the-job training. It's an entry-level position that starts as the EOC staffing for monitoring. Their first week will be nothing but training, and then they go through continual weekly training throughout their employment.
Okay. How many employees in tech are you short right now?
Right now, we're short 3.
So this will get one, you got that many more on hire today?
We have one more on hire today, so we'll still be short 1 position.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, John. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Jennifer?
Okay, the second individual again is 100% CSEP funded. This is Taylor Daly. This will be for an EOC technician. Starting salary is $16.41, and the official start date is July 7th, 2021.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion on Jennifer's recommendation to hire Taylor Daly for an EOC tech, starting at $16.41, starting date July 7th.
All right. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds.
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Jennifer. All right, next is an executive session. I need a motion and a second so that we can go into an executive session to discuss pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buckin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes, and we'll all head to Kenny's office. All right, thanks everybody for your patience. Welcome back to our fiscal court meeting. Clerk Barger, I think I gave you who had the motion in a second to come out of executive session. At this time, please call the roll.
Master Burger,
Here.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, so coming out of executive session, now we have a resolution 2021-75. This is the One Kentucky Opioid Settlement MOU. And our counselor, Jenny Hayman, is going to read us the resolution.
This is a resolution of the County of Madison, Kentucky, authorizing the judge executive to execute the One Kentucky Opioid Settlement Memorandum of Understanding relating to the national opioid litigation. Whereas the county is plaintiff in litigation against certain defendants who are contributors of opioids within the county, resulting in the availability of the drug and its abuse. And whereas the county has been advised by the attorneys retained to represent the county of possible settlement of claims. And whereas the county has been presented with one Kentucky Opioid Settlement Memorandum of Understanding with the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, referred to as the MOU, attached hereof and made a part hereof as Exhibit A. And whereas upon advice of the attorneys representing the county in the litigation, the county desires to enter into the MOU and authorize its attorney to proceed with finalization of settlement negotiations with defendants in accordance with the MOU. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court of the County of Madison, Kentucky as follows. Section 1. The Fiscal Court, as the governing body of the county, hereby authorizes and approves the execution of the One Kentucky Opioid Settlement Memorandum of Understanding with the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, attached hereof and made a part hereof as Exhibit A, and further authorizes its attorneys in the litigation to negotiate further settlement agreements with the county in accordance with the MOU. Section 2. The Fiscal Court hereby authorizes and approves or confirms authorization and approval of the MOU substantially in the form attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference thereto as Exhibit A, and directs the judge executive to execute and enter into the MOU on behalf of the county. The MOU may be amended after approval of this resolution without further action of the Fiscal Court upon the approval of the judge executive, provided that such amendment does not conflict with the resolution and the county judge executive is acting with the advice of its attorneys in the litigation. Further, the county judge executive is authorized and directed to enter into such other settlement agreements presented by the judge executive in settlement of the litigation or parts thereof with the defendants upon advice of its attorneys without further action of Fiscal Court, provided such settlement is in accordance with the MOU. Section 3. If any section, paragraph, or provision of this resolution shall be held to be invalid or unenforceable for any reason, the invalidity or unenforceability of such section, paragraph, or provision shall not affect any of the remaining provisions of this resolution. Section 4, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption as provided by law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court hereby authorizes Judge Executive Reagan Taylor to enter into the One Kentucky Opioid Settlement Memorandum of Understanding for purposes relating to the national opioid litigation.
Thank you, Jenny.
Motion to approve resolution 2021-75, Judge.
Second, Judge.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, next, resolution 2021-76. Resolution 2021-76, employee classification change for 2021-2022.
If I might, we might be able to change the order. I noticed that Robin had not uploaded the actual change, so we're gonna pull it up so I can read it. If it's okay if we go to 77, and then we'll.
Sure.
Just so
Do
you
I
all
have
would
it?
know the change.
Do I have it?
No,
No?
I don't believe so. Can I look?
Yeah, sure.
I
But
just wanna make sure you guys.
in the meantime, we'll just go on to 2021-77, if that's okay with the court.
I'll just check it real quick. I apologize. She does have it in your packet, so.
Okay, so we
I don't
won't
know
go
why
to
it's not-
77. We'll
You all might
stay
be able
on
to see it on Dropbox, and I
76.
just couldn't, so we'll go ahead and read that. Morgan, if you'll just bring that up, so I can see Dropbox.
You got it?
She's got
Yeah,
it.
it's the one with the blue star. Yeah. It's 19A.
A lot of months, not
So this will be resolution 2021-76, the
Correct.
employee classification change for 2021-2022?
Yeah, correct.
All right.
A resolution to amend Resolution 2021-54 for the Madison County Annual Employee Classification and the compensation for employee years of service benefits for the 2021-2022 classification schedule. Whereas Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to amend Resolution 2021-54, which was passed on May 25th, 2021, and whereas there was an error in the EMA CSEP categories on the classification schedule, and whereas the change is now reflected in the 2021-2022 employee classification schedule, now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve the amendment to the 2021-2022 employee classification schedule. Do you all see that in your Dropbox? If not, I'll read it, if that's okay. I'll just read what those changes are.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. What we had done in the previous employees, we combined 3 categories into one. They were all in the old classification schedule. We took the minimum and the maximum. We just inadvertently did not do that on these particular ones. So nothing has changed from what you've viewed before traditionally. It's just it was not reflected when we did the amendment. So it'll be operations lead, hourly min 1846, hourly max 2821. This is for the life of the CSEP program. We have communications officer 1, 1641 min, 2667 max. Same amount for Public Information Officer 1, same amount for Logistics Officer 1, same amount for Training Officer 1, same amount for Medical Officer 1, Finance Officer 1, min 1846, max 2821, EOC Technician 1, and team leads were all correct on the schedule. So those would be the changes to those.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021-76, employee classification change for 2021-2022?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Just to say, Judge, that I did see something that would address maybe next year in the IT category,
Okay.
and that's it.
If you'd like to make a motion to amend it, I don't know if you have a dollar amount, you could amend it to that if you wanted to.
Well, I'd like to then. I will do that. I'd like to make amendment in the IT section, Judge.
Okay.
Just a second.
Let me get to it. Well, did I go the wrong way? Of course I did. Okay.
I'd like to make amendment to the IT section under the Senior Systems Administrator.
Uh-huh.
Max salary at $65,000 presently. I'd like to change that to $75,000.
Okay.
That would
Is-
be, that would be,
is
in-
that a
that would be
motion?
in the form of a motion, Kenny.
Well, we already have a motion on the floor, or on the table.
Did we have a second though?
Yes.
We did?
We have a motion on the table for resolution 2021-76.
Okay, so, he can amend his motion then. He can amend his motion
It
to
was
include that.
Roger's motion and Paul's second.
Mhm. Right.
He can't amend
He
his motion.
can't, yeah. Roger made the motion to approve the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought Tom made the motion.
No, Roger
Okay.
did.
Roger made the motion.
Roger
we
could
can
amend
either-
his motion, though.
Roger could amend your motion
Correct.
if you agree with his change.
I agree with his change and amend the motion.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't see Landry.
We can get it out. We can get it off recording if we can get it all exactly right. All right.
All right, so then, Paul, would you second that same?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
So then we have a motion to approve resolution 2021-76 with the changes, amending the information technology senior systems administrators max pay from $65,000 to $75,000. So everybody's clear. All right? All right, any more discussion?
We'll modify that in the resolution before it's signed.
Yep. And I've crossed it out, marked it on here, so.
Perfect.
All right, no more discussion? Call the roll.
Master Bucket,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you for keeping us straight, Kenny.
Sure.
Next is resolution 2021-77, rate adjustment for 2021-2022. Colleen?
Resolution 2021-77, a resolution to adopt rate adjustments for 2021-2022. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has established rate adjustments for 2021-2022, and whereas the rate adjustments are updated annually, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to adopt the 2021-2022 rate adjustments, now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve the resolution and authorizes the Judge Executive to execute same on behalf of the county.
All right, do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021-77?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Is that just for the 20A sheet? Is this just the rates there that are changing?
Correct. So this would be what would, traditionally, before this administration, there was always just a flat rate. We now do it based on evaluations, whether they were at the end of their cap for a classification schedule, whether they have received some type of additional promotion due to excellence during the year. And that's what that category defines, which type of increase they're receiving, or is it a CPI adjustment, CPI and evaluation adjustment, et cetera. So it really varies based on the employee.
Do you understand?
I think so.
Yeah. So basically, raises in the county are based off your evaluation, your performance.
And the classification schedule.
In the classification
Years of
schedule.
service,
Mhm.
a lot of variables.
Yeah. And there's a lot of work actually into doing it this way. But as a court, I think when we all first came in together, we didn't really agree with just a flat rate across the board. There was no incentive to allow an employee to actually perform well, right? Because they were gonna be getting the same raise as somebody that might not have performed very well. And so, we have 4 sit-downs a year. 3 sit-downs a year, sorry. So we have kind of 2, every quarter you have 2 coaching sessions. And then we actually do the evaluation in March. I think next year we're gonna try to do it a little sooner.
Pre-budget.
Yeah, because it was a little difficult this year. But anyway, it's a good program. I hope magistrates agree. But it does take a lot of work. But I think we get a whole lot of productivity out of our employees by doing it this way.
Part of it too, Paul, was done whenever it was originally set up, and we were looking at a way to add an incentive to it, was the fact that if you're having not a counseling, but a review with your boss, and in a lot of places you come down to the end of the year and you find out, well, no, we're not going to give you any pay raises because you didn't do this, and this. Well, the time to find that out is not when you're sitting face to face with somebody at the end of the year. So that's where where they have the quarterly or the 3-year reviews, so that they have the opportunity to make a correction and do the best that they can based on what they're given. That's the purpose, part of the purpose.
And you will see on there that we do have individuals who this year are capped. We will be doing kind of a cross-board review of our salary compensation rates this year. So next year, we may see some of those numbers in the classification schedule market adjust. We'll just let you know when that comes next year.
All right, we do have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Colleen. Appreciate y'all's hard work on that. Next, judges report. I do have quite a few announcements today. These are community events, so it's always great to be able to announce these community events, since we haven't had a lot of those over the last 15, 16 months. But I'll run through them as quick as I can. Magistrates, if you all are interested, or elected officials, or anybody watching TV, I'll try to somewhat be precise on times and dates and what the events are. Richmond Independence Day Extravaganza will be Sunday, July 4th at the Lake Reba Recreational Complex. Gates will open at 5 p.m. and fireworks will be around 10 p.m. Berea's 4th of July celebration will also be on Sunday, July 4th, beginning at 6:30 with fireworks at 10 p.m. That will be at the city park, skate park areas. Please contact the Berea Parks and Recreation if you need more information. There's going to be a Berea Craft Festival. It'll be July the 9th through July the 11th. That will be down at Indian Fort Theater. The festival opens at 10 a.m. each day. Berea Tourism is sponsoring this festival, so if you need any information, just look up Brea Tourism to find out further info. Richmond Area Arts Council Blues, Soul, and Barbecue will be Saturday, July 17th from 6 until 8 p.m. at Chenault Vineyards. That's out off Barnes Mill Road. Please contact the Richmond Area Arts Council for required tickets. No tickets will be sold at the door. Also, there's going to be a Richmond Hops and Vines Festival. That will be Saturday, July the 24th, beginning at 6 p.m. along South 2nd Street in Richmond. So anybody interested in that, that'll be off of South 2nd Street in Richmond. Kirksville Community Center's Christmas in July craft show will be Saturday, July 24th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Kirksville Community Center. Registration for vendors is open for this year's Spoon Bread Festival in Berea. The dates for the Spoon Bread Festival is September the 17th through the 19th. Please contact the Berea Chamber of Commerce if you have any more information. And then our very first, Richmond's first Millstone Festival is also now open for registration to vendors. And that festival will be Saturday, October the 9th, and it will be actually on Main Street here. So Main Street will be shut down. They will actually be using some of our courthouse grounds. So we're excited about that event as well. 2021 Madison County Fair and Horse Show will be July the 23rd through July the 31st. That will be at the Madison County Fairgrounds out off Irvin Road. Get on the Madison County Fair's website if you want to know schedule of events or any other kind of information. And then last but not least, Madison County Courthouse and its related offices, we will be closed on July the 2nd for our Independence Day holiday, and our offices will reopen on Monday, July the 5th at 8 a.m. Thank you for listening. Next, we have comments from magistrates. And I have no idea where we left off 16 months ago, because I used to go in order, so I'll just start with Tom today, I guess.
Well, Judge, we've had a long court, and I don't have much to say today other than I appreciate all the county employees and the good things that they do for us. We do have a few projects going on in the 4th District, so just be aware of that if you live in the 4th District, and keep your eyes open. And should anybody need me for anything, they can reach me at 200-9765.
John Tudor?
Judge, had a couple of requests for pothole patching, and that's in orders, and also a request for some boom mowing. And Scott worked with me this morning, said that's going to be done in the next day or two. So I appreciate you, Scott.
That's good. Thanks, John. Rod?
Need to inform everybody, a lot of you probably already knows, Valley View Ferry is closed. But the reason it's closed is not a normal issue. We're under Coast Guard regulations, and the guy that operates that ferry has to have a Coast Guard license, just like he's operating a ship, which is crazy for us, but that's just part of it. We've been under Coast Guard safety regulations for a long time, and we wanted to be. But a few years ago, they said your captain needs to be a licensed captain. Well, you've got to go to a training school for 2 days after you've studied for a test you're going to take, and it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to find captains that wants to run a ferry rather than a ship. You know, so we've only got 2. One of them's in the hospital, and they work a week at a time. So when this guy's turn come around, we have no captain. We paid one guy. We are paid him. He's filled in for us before, but he drives 8 hours to just get here. That's got a license to run this boat.
Wow.
It's crazy. I mean, that's just part of Coast Guard regulations. If we don't like it, we can shut it down for good. You know, so we're just shut down right now just because we don't have a guy to drive the boat.
And our ferry boats actually run on a cable too,
They
right?
run on a cable, yeah. I mean, there's,
Yeah, back and forth, that's all they
yeah,
got. They
forward,
couldn't get out.
forward,
Yeah, it's not
reverse.
like that you could get,
Off course. No, you can't get up.
you couldn't get down, I mean, you can't get down river.
The deckhands can run the boat as long as there's a captain on board with them. You know, so if the captain's feeling bad or whatever, we could still run the ferry, you know, if he could just be on that boat. But when you're in the hospital sick, you know, it's a different story. But just want to let everybody know, you know, it's not sitting there because we just don't want to run it. Regulations requires us, you know, to shut it down. That's about all I got. Glad to be back live. I mean, we was live with the other, but I mean, to where people can see us more and whatever, it's just been a long time coming, and I'm glad to see us back. I think we do better by talking face to face and explain to each other, you know, what needs we have, you know, and it works out a whole lot better.
Yeah, it's
That's all I
good.
got.
Thanks, Ross.
Roger, maybe we could get that Captain Bazumi and
Well, we'll
take care of
it.
that right there. I'm just
Let a
thinking
deckhand run it and
Yeah, it might be
put
hard.
the captain's picture up
Yeah.
there.
Might be hard to get service down there, though. Paul?
No comment.
No comments. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Kenny?
I just got one little, our, clerks conference was yesterday and through this week, but I just wanna thank you all for, you hear horror stories about clerks working with their courts, sheriffs working with their courts and not getting along and all that, and I'm just blessed and thankful to have a court that's always been able to work with, and I'm, you know, more than glad to work with you all on anything we need. It's the best for the citizen, what it boils down to, because when there's conflict between the members of any group, it causes the whole to be weaker and not get as much done, so I really appreciate y'all.
Yep. Thanks,
As
Kenny.
long as you don't become a grumpy grandpa, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Angry grandpa.
Angry
Yeah. Angry bird papaw. Yeah.
But now I told somebody, I said, you know, middle of the month is the deadest time for us. So she came in the middle of the month. She came on a year where there's no elections. And she's already working on holding her head up. She ain't even 2 weeks old, so we're already getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I bet that's the last she listens to him.
I'll be praying for Carolina Rose with him as her papaw. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
You good?
thank you.
Thank you. Tony? Okay, thank you. Good. All right, appreciate everybody being here today. It doesn't look like we have any, no, department heads. Anybody? All right. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Good. All right. No comments from the audience, but appreciate everybody being here today. I need a motion to approve I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion on those? Y'all have the list of those in your packet. Seeing no discussion, call the roll.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Our next fiscal court meeting, and this is exciting because we're gonna be back in Berea. This will be the first time we've been back in Berea in, I guess, I don't know, maybe 17 months. Yep, been a while. Actually, you know what? Berea might have been our last fiscal court meeting. Yeah, that was our last fiscal court meeting. So it'd be good to get back down into Berea and have a court meeting in person. July 13th, 2021 will be our next fiscal court meeting at 9:30 in Berea. Need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Reynolds.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.